A very warm welcome to yet another episode of the TeachPitch podcast. And this is a very special one, I have to say, because I have flown in from Aberdeen, Scotland, to the beautiful city of Tirana, capital of Albania. And I'm a guest here at a very exclusive conference, a very novel conference, I must say, which is called ThinkTech. And I'm very happy and feel very honored that I can speak to the founder of ThinkTech and the founder of Landmark, Erion Isufi.
Thank you, Aldo.
Erion, I would like to say welcome, but actually you're the one welcoming me. So thank you for having me over.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and also, well, look at us, look at the stage, look at the cameras, look at the microphones. I'm not used to interviewing in such a professional setting, so it's quite a spectacle, and we're basically on the forefront of what is to happen, because I have to be honest, we're on lunch break for a hackathon that is currently ongoing here at ThinkTech, and tomorrow there'll be a beautiful lineup of speakers from loads of companies, universities, who are going to talk here at ThinkTech. And now, before I get to you, Erion, I want to make sure that everyone understands what ThinkTech is and what it does. So I went to the website, and I just want to read what I found there. So on the website it says, for the first time we introduce a conference which focuses entirely on technology as the field of the future. The call of ThinkTech is, do not leave Albania, because even in the absence of initiatives of relevant institutions, our country still offers many opportunities in the field of technology. And I think that's a beautiful tagline. Do not leave Albania.
Do not leave Albania.
What do you mean with that, Erion?
When we started, it sounds a bit like a cliche to do it for a better goal and for a better future. But actually, that's it all about. After developing over the last years, that Albania, especially Tirana, but also Albania, has had this industry, the software industry, really embraced and changed a lot, not only for the city, for the country, but also for the everyday lives of the people, especially the younger professionals who embraced this profession. And unfortunately, it's not only in Albania, but also in the surrounding countries and maybe the whole Eastern Europe, where you see the absolute hunger that, in a sense, that bigger countries like Germany or the Great Britain or Italy have for developers. As we all know, everybody needs developer. Now developers are becoming this very high commodity. And we saw that, unfortunately, large numbers of young Albanians are leaving for a better future, in a sense. And it's not per se a bad thing, it's a good thing. I myself studied abroad, but I came back. We'll get into that later. But, of course, we do not like the brain drain.
Yeah.
We do not like that young people, young families, professionals, not only developers, but also in other professions, leave the country for a better future, in a sense, for more money. I mean, in the end, that's all about, I think.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, that's what I think.
And just to put it in numbers, so before we started recording, you said that, for instance, Germany is enjoying an influx of lots of Albanian people. I think you said something like 10,000 a year?
10,000 a year, legally, but you also have to consider the ones that go there, unfortunately, also illegally. But through the embassy process, so the legal process of acquiring or getting a job in Germany, it's 10,000 people a year. Yeah. And you'll notice that Albania is not a huge country. We now have, what, 2.8 million people?
Yeah.
So, and the bad thing is that these 10,000 people are all, I think, between 25 and maybe 45 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all those are the people you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
You know, they drive the economy.
Yeah.
It's the middle class, and in Albania it's the upper middle class. So yeah.
Yeah. So, if I get this correctly, you're trying to showcase that through embracing technology,
Yeah.
People in Albania, more particularly the youth, can have a good life, develop themselves thoroughly,
Yes.
and build great careers, also by staying in the country.
Yes.
You don't necessarily need to leave the country
Yes.
to become a skilled developer, to make good money,
yeah.
to build a family, to build your
Exactly.
future.
It has changed a lot over the last maybe 5 or 6 years. Before that, being a developer in Albania was seen as a, I don't know, underrated job.
Yeah.
Let's face what it was. And then with the evolution and revolution that it had in the country, now the developers are really number one of, I think, even better than, I don't know, medics, people working in hospitals.
Yeah.
And with that, the influx of larger companies, you know for sure, that came to, especially to Tirana, brought also a lot of expertise.
Yeah.
So people who were before that driven to go to work abroad for a larger group or for a company in Italy or Germany, they don't have to, because
Yeah.
they can work here. I mean, as a matter of fact, we're working very close with Sisal, and Sisal is a multinational Italian-based company, national lottery, gaming, especially a software company, because for them software is hardcore. And through us, with us, over the last 4 or 5 years, we have managed to put into work more than 450 people for Sisal, for Sisal Hub, which is a great thing. And that's not the only example.
Yeah.
So there are many such examples. So if you are, many people also left because they wanted to grow professionally, to have a better career. And the only way to do that was to go abroad. Now you don't need to.
Yeah.
There are big companies here. I don't want to name other companies because, but there are German companies, Italian, British, Swiss, French. You can do it here.
So that's good news for Albania.
Yeah.
You know, it's no longer needed to leave the country to grow the economy. Before we get to your story, because you're an example of someone who studied abroad and then came back, I just want to explain or further dive into the format of ThinkTech. So it's twofold. It's on one hand, it's a hackathon, right, whereby young developers with great ideas are invited for a contest. Am I correct? And
yes.
then you so this is ongoing now. They're invited here to create something.
At 3 o'clock, 2 hours from now, we'll have all the presentations of all the 6 teams.
Yeah.
The main theme is smart solutions. So each team has a smart solution about something, about a house, about the city, about office, about COVID, many things that we will also have the chance to see together. And we did it 2 days. It's a lot of work, and I want to tell to have a special thank you for the guys from Landmark who worked a lot. 2 days of such activities is not a small thing.
Yeah.
But we need to do it. We need to show to everybody, to the world, that we can do same events, hackathons, think tech forums as anywhere else.
As anywhere else, yeah. And,
So
and that brings me where I think you did very well for the second track, because you also invite institutions, companies from abroad to join you in co-organizing ThinkTech, right? So
working with institutions and universities for us, it's a very important thing. And I'd like to what we have achieved as a group. I'd like to somehow to give it back as much as I can, as much as we can to the society and to the community. Yeah. So whenever we have within our limits and chances to have interns or to have people from universities to start working with us, or to give a chance to young people, we do it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not unlimited, but we do it.
Nice.
That's the whole idea. And
nice.
As a matter of fact, we have a collaboration with many institutions, universities, that we try to get from each other to how to we to better ourselves, but also universities, maybe if they have hands-on on what companies need. Maybe they also can develop, redevelop, and change eventually their curricula. Because let's face it, universities are a bit standard operating institutions, and they do not change that, that quickly.
And it's not only the institutions, these are also companies from abroad.
Yes.
So companies from the UK, from Italy, from
Germany.
From Germany,
yeah.
who are also supporting ThinkTech in Albania, right?
We are very thankful to our, I'd like to say friends. Before they were clients and then became partners, but then we became friends with all of them. And because they also make it happen, because let's face it, everything costs. So without having anyway a budget, we cannot run this show. And we have a saying at Landmark that we do not compromise with quality. So if we do something, we need to do it top notch all the way. So state of the art.
Thank you. Let's talk about you for a second, Erion. So we've hinted before, you did, so you're Albanian, you underwent primary school, secondary school here in Albania, and then you got the opportunity to study abroad, so you did so in the Netherlands. And by the by, Erion and I know each other from those days, because we both studied in Utrecht, and coincidentally we also studied the same, international relations.
Yes.
Yet you chose, after graduating, to go back to Albania. Could you tell me a little bit more about that decision?
Well, I found, maybe not many people understand, but if you're Albanian, you understand. If you have an international degree, it helps a lot in Albania, because it somehow makes you, I don't want to say makes you special, but it makes you it gives you at least a bonus, a start bonus, and with many things. Of course, living apart that Utrecht University is top 50 universities in the world, which is a great school that you learn a lot, and learning at the university, living alone, and you have to do everything by yourself. It's another school altogether. So apart from that, in Holland, I was supposed to be, maybe, if I would have stayed, a normal a guy with a normal job, which is, I have nothing against it, of course, but I would not have had maybe this bonus starting point that I would have had here. So that's what made me think of, maybe go back and, let's give it a try. So I came back in 2005. And then, well, in Albania, you need, after you have lived I lived in Holland for 9 years almost. If you lived for a long time, then you need time to reintegrate into your own country. Because, again, you don't understand, but the rest of the Albanians do. Things change a lot. You change, but then you have to rechange with how we operate. From the driving into standing in line, things that you know. Aldo, you've been here many times. And I was always very much involved in events, also at school, and public relations and international relations, and content creating. One of my major, that I really liked, one of my exams that was about journalistic, so journalism. I liked it very much, but I never wanted to become a journalist. I said, this is too much for me. But anyway, I love reading. I like to write. Not to write books, but I like to write things before. And I saw a gap in the market over the years in communication and in advertising and in marketing. And I thought that something was missing, and maybe that my experience in Holland would somehow benefit me, and then benefit also the market. I found that marketing was seen as something very solid, square, and that he did not have many room to maneuver. Whereas, let's face it, Holland is a land of creativity, and it's an awesome country. Especially I've had the opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, I think to be there, and especially I always wanted to have something, an agency or a company, where you could develop 360 degrees of marketing, creativity, communication. So in a sense, the whole idea, and I think the idea with technology that came later, that you need just one guy, the client, that we need one guy, one telephone number for anything.
To do it all.
To do it all.
And that's your first challenge, because you were ahead of your time, because you brought that concept to Albania, and then the first reaction was, we don't know what you're talking about, right? Which by the by, you've described as your first challenge.
It was.
Yeah, we're going to discuss your 3 challenges.
And talking to people, trying to explain this. Of course. And let's face it, 12, 13 years ago, talking about marketing in Albania to Albanian businessmen was not the easiest subject. And I said, give us a chance, man. I mean, we started with a very solid and core team. Most of them are still around. And I knew the capacity of our team, of myself, so I never doubt that we would
succeed.
We'll succeed, and I don't want to say be here where we are now, because every day is a challenge. It's a never-ending story. It never stops. You need to develop every day. You need to learn every day. You need to change according to what's coming, to the new trends and everything. And of course, marketing, I'd like to say, is so beautiful from the outside. All the nice romantic comedies, somehow they all happen inside a marketing bureau. So you see young girls around with the beautiful offices, flowers, presentations, and 2 people fall in love, and then they break up and they fall in love again. But within it, it's hard work. And the only thing that I know of marketing is I don't think we have anyone in our organization who has studied marketing. I think marketing is a calling. It's not of course it's a profession, but it's not that now I'm a marketing guy, or a marketing girl. It doesn't happen like that. You have to. It's a passion. It's something else.
And so, well, let's start with the challenge. So you come back in 2005. You introduce this concept of, a one-stop shop for all your marketing ideas to companies, and you start with a small team. When was it that it started to pay off? When did it become slightly more successful? Because I can imagine the startup journey wasn't without any pains and whatever.
Well, I'd like to say we're the only marketing agency in Albania that have done 2 rebranding campaigns for 2 mobile operators. And I believe also in the Balkans, I don't think there are many. Now we can say the names, Aldo Telecom and One Telecommunications, because now they are part of the same group, a bigger, larger group, Hungarian group. 401G bought them, so I said the one in the big family. And we had the chance to do the rebranding of Aldo Telecom with Eagle. So there were 2 brands. It was the mobile operator Eagle and Aldo Telecom, the solid former Albanian Post, which is the internet provider and telephone fixed phone. We did that rebranding. It was a huge campaign, a massive success. Very proud of that. I think it was 7 or 8 years ago. And then we did another one just before the pandemic, so during the pandemics, 441 Telecommunications, which was bought by an Albanian-Bulgarian group from Deutsche Telekom. Also a huge success, big success, great numbers. And I can proudly say nobody has done it. So because of chances and everything, only us have done it, and both rebranding. And I can tell you, rebranding a telecom company is not is by no means an easy task. So coming back to your question, that was the first time that I saw doing the rebranding of telecom, that I saw that it's paying off. Also in terms of, not only in terms of money, because we had clients right away and the business was running, but somehow marketing is also a feeling. It's not in the end only but numbers. Because marketing is, you see the end result. You see the advertisement on TV, you see how people react for new companies, for the name, for the product, for the service. So it's something very...
Interesting. So, and Landmark is now a company of over 200 people. You've worked on all.
I lost the count.
You lost count?
Unfortunately, I used to know everybody. Now I do not know. It's impossible.
Sad part of the game.
It's a sad part of the game.
But I mean that's success in and of itself, right? So what would you say was the highlight thus far? What would you say kind of in 2005 to now? So that's 17 years. Is there one highlight you care to mention if I ask you, like?
in terms of work or?
In terms of work, yeah, in your landmark career, has there been one? I think you already mentioned one with the telecom provider, but is there one that stands out?
If something, I'm a communication guy. I like very much to delegate, and I have a trust in people. If you hire someone for a certain position, then you should give it to her or to him what he's asking for. So give to Caesar what is Caesar's, in a way. And I'd like to say proudly that I don't know how many TVCs we've done, TV commercials. I have not taken part in none of them. Okay. So I've never been in any TV shooting.
Okay.
0.
Until today? No.
This is interview. I'm part of it. So, and I'm not the kind of a control freak, so I need to control everything.
Yeah.
Our 2 creative directors are excellent, great guys. So I don't need to tell them this line, you need to put it there. Yeah. This actor need to have a longer hair, whatever. You know, it's, I never done it. I don't think I will start again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and if it runs,
it sounds like.
So if that's one thing I'm very proud that the people that work with us are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Put it very simply.
It sounds like the highlight is the people that you're doing it
Exactly.
with.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great observation. I want to go back to ThinkTech, and then more specifically what you're doing with ThinkTech and the investment you're making in Albanian youth. Because coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, Tirana is now European Capital of Youth for this year. Mm-hmm. So Tirana is almost a European example of how we should invest in the next generation. Which role do you think technology can play in this investment?
You have put it in very nice words, Aldo. Mm-hmm. And I love your description, but let's keep it positive. Yeah, I'll tell you another example. According to official numbers, I think from when this school year started, university, I think it was in October, 22,000 people were registered for economics.
At university.
At university. Yeah. And imagine, the one who registered for economics, they're good with numbers, right? So they're, generally speaking, they're good with math, maybe physics, geometry. They would be also, in general, the right candidates to become a software engineer or a web developer. Because nowadays, let's face it, becoming a web developer, it's not that hard. You know, you need to have a certain discipline to sit down, to learn, but it's not rocket science. Yeah. Imagine, or I would imagine, these 22,000 people, not 22, 10,000, go study for web development, ICT, software engineer. Yeah. What it will change? It will change the face of Tirana, of the country, in 2-3 years. Yeah. Why? Because first of all, the market has much appetite, not only Albania, but also the other countries. We see requests coming in from clients, existing clients and partners, and also from other clients. And they need to settle in Albania because, let's face it, Albania now has a certain name of that the software programmers and web developers are good, are solid. They speak at least two languages, English or English and Italian, or English or Italian. They're very well disciplined. Let's face it, no bullshitter in the sense, I'm sorry to use this sense, but they work. And they get, it's more efficient than the Western Europe, which is good for us. But still, the salaries that a junior developer would get cannot compare to a junior finance or economist. By no way. Yeah. And in years, the whole digital world, so not only software programmers, but also online managers and creative guys and designers, these are the future of everything, you know? I know that also economists is very important to keep your, but you know, in a sense we have our office, our finance office now is, we're 4, we've grown to 200. Yeah. And before there were 3, so we'd add 1. We cannot add 20.
No.
You know, how much we grow, it's not relative, so you grow 1.
Yeah.
So in this sense, And for this, many, the government and all other institutions, state and NGOs, they need to do a lot about this. Yeah. It's a pity that 22,000 newcomers, so first year, want to study economics. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know how many tens of thousands want to start to become a lawyer. Lawyer is fine. I have nothing against lawyers, but there should be incentives from other institutions to delegate, to tell people we cannot produce 20,000 lawyers a year because the market doesn't need it. Yeah. You know, they end up, the best they can do is work for the government with a starting salary of 300-400 euros a month. Yeah. You know, it's.
Yeah. Just to clarify, when you said salaries don't compare, a software developer would make a lot more than an accountant or an economist, right?
And the growth it goes much faster than any other profession.
Yeah. So your message would be to public institutions. Supporting
as much as possible
university choices, like get into IT, get into software development. Because there are brighter futures there, and we don't need 22,000 economists.
You can work nowadays. You can work hybrid. You can work from home. Yeah. You can work from office. I mean, it's. Yeah. You can have your own company, your name. You can work freelance.
Yeah. And is that also your message with ThinkTech? Is that what you want to convey to the people who are coming over, who are coming here tomorrow, and who are
still here today? The message is that Albania is a beautiful country. Yeah. Again, it sounds cliche, but we have an amazing coast, amazing cuisine. But as everything, there are balances. Of course, there is no such thing as a perfect country, perfect people, perfect nothing. Yeah. But these things are very, very good. Yeah. There are other things that we need to improve, but let's not go into that. And I don't want to say that to no one, don't go abroad, do not try yourself. But still, there are opportunities here, and they should see that. Again, working in your own country and being in your country is a big plus. Yeah. If you go to another country, it's going to be very tough few years at least, if not for a longer period.
Or you can go shortly but come back. Right?
You can go shortly and come back. Yeah.
Permanent brain drain. I like what you said about Albania, because you and I sometimes laugh about the perception that other people have of Albania. For instance, if it's in movies, there's always like mafioso or kind of,
Liam Neeson has done a great job doing take 1, take 2, take 3, and I think he's doing take 4. Yeah. Yeah. We're not like we're not all bad guys, Aldo.
No, you're most certainly not. And I always think it's such a shame that that's the portrayal of Albania in movies or something like that. That I'm like, why is this? Because you're right. You have a beautiful coastline, great hospitable people, great food. There are so many things to Albania, and I think it's a shame that it's portrayed as such. And
I think the same too.
I hope there are more people standing up and showcasing Albania on a level that it deserves. I want to go back to ThinkTech, because ThinkTech is gaining popularity. This is its 4th edition.
Yes.
What are your plans with ThinkTech in the future?
Well, we want to organize at least twice a year in Tirana.
Okay.
So spring and fall, more or less. Then we want to organize 1 or 2 in Kosovo. So we're preparing one in Prizren. Maybe we'll organize one in Pristina. And maybe one international one somewhere else. We have started a strategic cooperation with this group, Visegrad Group, Visegrad Fund, from the Me Out group, based in Budapest, from the Visegrad countries. And we're thinking to maybe starting from next year, together with them, to do a more focused collaboration, especially based on ThinkTech, where you can do in all the countries in the Balkans. We can do one ThinkTech with them. So using local companies like we do here, local guys, but with the help of ThinkTech and Visegrad Fund. Let's see.
Yeah. And you envision it to be kind of almost an independent non-profit platform.
That's the idea. Yeah. We want to become eventually an NGO, to become also. It is very much connected now with Landmark. which is this is how it is. But of course, also in the future, it's not that Landmark is going to go anywhere. But I want the people to see now. People see that very much ThinkTech is part of Landmark, because in a sense it is. But I want to keep it out to become an NGO where we can also invite also the competitors of Landmark. Yeah. Because, you know, let's face it.
Yeah, because you need them also to put technology on the map for Albania.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. You don't have there's no competition in this.
But
in this
again,
message.
if you invite a bank, you cannot invite two banks, you know?
No, okay. Yeah.
So if you invite one telecom company, you cannot. Yeah. So in a sense, you are also limited on the. And I'm very thankful to our partners who made this possible. So that's the whole idea, to become an NGO, maybe more with a more regional focus. Yeah. Also to help to give the same message that we do it here, to give it to other countries. Because other countries in the region are facing the same problem. Germany is it's getting everybody, man. Yeah,
lots of people are off to Germany.
Big country.
Yeah. I want to go back to education. Yeah. Because the TeachPitch podcast is about education and making innovative changes in education, and that's also a cause close to your heart.
Yes,
right?
Very much.
So, one of the things I'm wondering, and I think you already partly answered it, is like in universities they don't really give you the know-how on how to become a developer. So there's a little bit of a gap between
what do you need and what they teach.
Yeah, applicability. There's not a lot of applicability when you're out of university, which I think is a global problem, because when we came out of university, what could we do, right? There's no direct fit. Everyone has that problem. You need practical experience. But you say, well, you know, you take it one step further, specifically when it comes to technology. So which role, and also what would be your message then? So which role do you think teachers in Albania should play in this, or schools, so current public schools? Where do you think they should adapt?
Teachers are a bit, how can I say? Teachers are the last, in a sense, is the first most important person who is facing the students. But a teacher somehow is not independent. They need to follow the school guidelines. The university, whatever they teach, he will teach, or she will teach. So in this sense, they need a bigger collaboration with companies, with us, which some of them do. I'm not saying that everybody should come to us, but to have the feedback of where it's going. And also the theme for tomorrow is Web 3. So we have Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. Are we going in the direction of Web 3? So the whole economy, industry needs to focus on Web 3 or not? Yeah. So these are, I don't think anyone, institution in Albania is thinking about this, you know, let alone discussing where the future is going. And other countries are already taking measures, you know, that maybe the blockchain and the NFT and everything, the world is going there. Yeah. You know, so we need to follow the path, or not. Maybe the world is not going there.
No. But at least you need to know about it, right?
Exactly. And here we are a bit way behind on terms of, you know, so but a lot of, again, in this sense, the government has to do a lot. Yeah. They are the body that needs to guide. I don't want to do to become political or anything, but from the outside, Tirana is the youth capital, but it's a bit, for the one who see it, is the youth capital but it's not the youth capital, because many youth, they want to leave. So it's kind of, it contradicts itself. It's not this happy, shiny city when everybody wants to stay. You know?
But there's still lots of work to be done.
There's lots of work to be done.
Yeah. And so with regards to schools and teachers, you say they should increase their knowledge on what digital is, right? And what technology is.
And we see this as a big handicap for our needs. And in this sense, we are moving into direction. We would like to start our own academy, university, focused on ICT, digital, and design, creativity, online media also. Myself, I've been working for this for the last, before the pandemics, and then the pandemics happened, and somehow we had other concerns, bigger concerns. But I see a positive trend, at least in Tirana. There are a few academies that are popping up. I don't want to mention any, but English-sounding names, excellent, the best curricula in Silicon Valley, New York. But we need to think locally, you know.
Yeah.
Or that's what I think. We need to see what works in the surrounding countries.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, being fair and square, I don't think what works in Silicon Valley will work here. You know.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same comparison, and it's not the same. So I believe maybe we have found a good partner. In Bulgaria, we're working with a partner there. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm very, but it's going to be very
exciting. So
it's exciting.
It would be your own university, you say?
Not only my own, because I cannot do everything myself.
No. In partnership.
Even I have my own, know my own limits.
Yeah.
In partnership with friends, and with our partners, and maybe with some of the clients who share the same vision that. The guys who are here for a longer term to stay, usually they share the same visions because they face the same problems that we face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's. I think that's very interesting. You're in the same market. You share the same pains and have the same vision on how to resolve it. I also think you could do almost a hybrid form, because you mentioned like the knowledge of Silicon Valley could be good, but you need an interpretation of that knowledge for Albania, right? So it doesn't mean that you cannot use
what
the
works
material.
in Holland is not per se it's going to work here, and vice versa.
You need to almost translate it and apply it. So but
exactly.
But you could do good partnerships there.
Exactly.
And that's an exciting prospect.
That's the idea. That's why if I don't want to rush into things. I want to do it. If we do it, I want to plan it really very thorough and very carefully. And if we start with it, then
And it would be for Albanian youth?
It would be for youth in Albania, but I think it's open for everyone. It's not going to be only for Albanians.
Yeah.
But primary is going to be for Albanians, yes.
Yeah. Nice. Well, there's a lot of plans and already so many projects that you've achieved. So it's really an amazing story, because if you look at, as you say, all the commercials that Landmark made, the big projects you did for these telecom providers, but also the other work you're doing with your technology teams and your ever-growing kind of group of software developers, and it seems to be perpetual. But I appreciate you also describe the challenge like every day is different, right? You need to keep on fighting. You need to be at it, as many entrepreneurs always say. So I'm very happy you underline that. We're almost at the end of this interview, Erion, and thank you very much for your time. My two very last questions would be, and I ask these questions to everyone. One is about reading. So I always ask my guests, like, is there any particular book that has inspired you and that you would like to recommend to others to read?
I studied history in Holland because I still love reading. And going against the will of my dad, who passed away 2 months ago, I miss him so much. Studied something with numbers, economics, finance. You're good with numbers, Erion. Said, no, Dad, I love history. So then he said, okay. So I remember at the University of Utrecht, and at the library, the big library. So I went there to get books for the exam that we had. And I always got lost, just looking for a book, finding another one, and it ended up the whole day reading about something totally different that had nothing to do with the subject. One book that really I read, and it's, I think, funny special, it's 12 and the Gods by William Bolito, a South African author. 100 years ago, I think he wrote the book in 1926. He died, I think, 1929. It's a book that was written a century ago, so it's outdated. Some things that are in the book, of course, are for the 20s, 100 years ago. Some people might find it a bit offensive, but I don't find it so. How I found it is that somebody wrote that this was Elon Musk's favorite book, because he's also South African. And these cliches of whatever Elon likes, everybody should add a whatever. Yeah. But then somehow I looked it up and read a few reviews. And it caught my, because it's a history book, that's why it caught my attention. So it describes the life journey of 12 very unconventional figures, historical. So it starts with Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Casanova. So it has a very, it has a dimension that follows the lives of these people who led very unconventional and wild lives. And in the end, it's a book that if you want to get motivated for a wilder life, even though I'm not lead any wild life whatsoever, it's a good read. So the author itself, I believe he almost died at the Battle of Verdun in 1916. They thought they lost him at the battle. He got buried alive. Somehow he survived.
Oh, goodness.
So maybe after this resurrection that he had, maybe he thought of this unconventional life. Yeah. And one line that I like, I don't know, it's the end of the book, I think. He said that laws are written by old people for old people. Yeah. Because he said, if you're young, you have to be unconventional. Yeah. If you're old, then you like the status quo. Nothing happens. I don't like to move a lot. Hey, I like it as it is.
Comfort.
Yeah. Comfort. Yeah. Young kids are not, it's anything but comfort. Yeah. They should get out, explore, discover, travel, know themselves. And he uses this example, like Alexander the Great, who took this massive empire. He said he went against all odds. Because he said, I'm going to go all the way to India. He was, when he started, he was 20-something years old. He died 33. And so that's the whole idea of the book. Yeah. And one thing I like about with Alexander the Great, going back to the proud Albanian, he describes the women of Epirus. And because Olympia, the mom of Alexander, was from Epirus. And Epirus is a region in South Albania and north of Greece. We say they're Albanians, and the Greeks say it's Greeks. But anyway, it's like the egg and the chicken. But one true fact is that the old Greeks never accepted Alexander the Great to take part at the Olympic Games, because they thought of him, he was a barbarian. And barbarian, barbaros in Greece, it translates into foreigner. Yeah. So he was not Greek. But now, of course, the Greek government says that Alexander the Great is the Greek hero. Yeah. But back in the days, he was not. And in the book, Olympia had a very big impact on Alexander's life, bigger than Philip, his dad. And she was from Epirus. And he describes the women of Epirus as this, wait, I think I've written, because otherwise I forget. As something godly, epic, strong, determined, and stronger than men. And somehow my family comes from this Epirus, let's say, region, south of Albania. And all the women in my family are like that. So I'm used to very strong and determined women. Yeah. But anyway, so the book 12 Under Gods, I'd recommend it to anyone who loves history. Yeah. It's an unconventional reading about history.
Good. 12 in the Gods by William Bollington. Thank you so much for that recommendation. And I'm definitely going to read it. And I think it already speaks for itself that if a book is more than 100 years old and you're still fascinated by it, reading it in 2022, then that speaks for itself, right, as a recommendation. And I'm sure that any political incorrectness can be, looked at from, okay, it was written in
you
those
have to
times,
put in that perspective,
whereby, you didn't have that perspective.
He also wrote a book about Mussolini, but
yeah.
Let's not go there.
Yeah. And then the very last question, Erion.
Tell me.
Let's turn the tables. Now this is your interview, and you have a podcast, the Think Tech podcast, or the Erion Isufi podcast. Who would you want to talk to?
I like to describe myself as a history student. And like they say, if you know the past, then you are better prepared for what's coming, for the present and eventually for the future. So I'd like to choose two historical figures which I think have had an impact in my life, big, small. The first is Napoleon. Somehow I find his figure, what he did for Europe. Of course, he did also bad things, war, kill, but yeah, everything is time relative, so I have to put in when he lived. But what he did, changes that he brought: women's rights, divorce rights, so you could eventually divorce. He was the first one who put surnames. So all the weird surnames that you have in Holland, van der Niet, Holland, so the Dutch thought, yeah, we write it down, and then it's a joke, the French will go, the Dutch will come. But man, the names changed. They stayed there. So if you're in Holland that you have these weird surnames, then you know what's about. The second is Kurt Cobain, singer of Nirvana. And
why him?
I think we're same generation. We were very lucky to be teenagers in the 90s. And especially in 1991, which was the big year of change. It produced, to me, the music that I love. So alternative rock, grunge, and heavy metal. 91 was, I think, the best year that, for me again, for this music that I still listen today. Amazing albums from Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Maybe I forget. No, again, 91 was an immense year. And Kurt Cobain was, to us, to my generation here, was maybe the most unconventional of all of them, also because he died young. So maybe going back to the book, that's why I like the book, because it's an unconventional. And Kurt Cobain was anything but a conventional singer guy. So yeah, these two.
Yeah. Wonderful. These are amazing answers. And thank you so much, Erion. Thank you so much for inviting me into the think tech world. It's been inspiring to listen to you. I also want to say that I'm very sorry for your loss from your father.
Thank you very much.
If he were here today, he would be very proud of you as a historian, an entrepreneur, a marketeer, and a think tech founder.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you very much, Aldo.
Thank you.